Well, hello everybody. This is a little unconventional, but we want to welcome you to today's Ripple Effect podcast. My name is Daniel, and here in this studio that we've set up in the booth, joining me is Mr. Brian Sevitz and my wife, Macy Geringer, and we'll get to her in a moment. But like we like to do every time we do our podcast, we like to give you the sponsor of the week. And the sponsor of the week is, you ready? Moon pies. When's the last time you had a moon pie, Brian?
You know, it probably has been 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. I think I did buy one. They sell those in Branson at that Dick's 5 and Dime. I think I bought one a couple years ago and ate it.
Okay, so this says since 1917, and I think I forgot how dry they are. They are pretty dry. The reason we're doing moon pies is the theme for VBS, which is happening this week, is stellar, and we've been talking about space, and we've been talking about planets, and we've been talking about all sorts of different things. So moon pie was the snack of the day. It wasn't a snack? What is it?
It was the thank you to the volunteers.
Oh, okay. So we're feeding our children better things than the moon pie?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Well, we're here up in the studio because we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to give you a live shot of the VBS experience as they're singing music. So we're going to try to time this right so that when we finish, you'll get a chance to see the kids that are singing and celebrating and having a lot of fun here at VBS. But before we get to that, we just want to recap the week and talk about what happened this past Sunday. This past Sunday, we had our summer intern, Aaron Reeves, preach, and he talked about the charcoal fire. And before I give you some recap on that, I just want to ask you guys, how was your Sunday? Did you have a good Sunday, bad Sunday?
Yeah, went pretty well. It's one of those weeks where I felt like the music had kind of been thrown together, or practice went long, but like there were a few things I was like, oh, I hope we remember that. I mean, second hour, I made like 5 mistakes. I don't know who noticed.
I was going to say, did you notice his mistakes?
I didn't even notice, and I play in the worship band sometimes. So.
Yeah. I thought it was great. It was a full band, too. You had a lot of...
Yeah.
That was a good...
It was really good to have Anthony back. He's not been able to play a lot because of his work schedule and family and stuff, but I was glad to have him back with us. And then Lori back from Florida for the summer. So.
Macy, what about you? How was your Sunday?
Well,
Tell us about it.
I accidentally slept in and missed first hour, and so the kids and I came late second hour because, why would we get here on time?
Well, it's not like you don't have things to get ready and get together. Sometimes, though, even the preacher's wife sleeps in and shows up to church late, and that's okay. Because you weren't teaching. You normally teach, right?
I do. I normally on Sunday mornings, well, I don't always teach, but I'm always usually back with the high schoolers, and I help back there, or I'll play music.
Well, on Sunday we talked about coming back to the table of fellowship, and Aaron talked about how we need to be welcoming to those coming back to the table of fellowship who may have left, or if we ourselves have left, we need to return to the table of fellowship. I just wanted to ask you guys your thoughts on the idea of fellowship. What has it meant to you over the years through the church to have fellowship with Christians or people that could encourage you? How has it impacted your life? Either of you can take it.
I'll go first, I guess. Well, the first thing I was thinking about is I was talking to somebody after the service who had stuff going on in their life. I mean, like we all do. We go through different seasons. And at the moments where they needed fellowship more, maybe for support, they had isolated themselves and done the exact opposite of what would be the best thing for them in their Christian walk would be to have lots of people around them supporting them. And the fact is, because of the isolation, a lot of people don't even know what's going on, don't know how to pray for them, don't know how to support them. And I think that's one of my takeaways, because I kind of tend to do the same thing sometimes, is to, if you go through a tough time, close myself off rather than come to the table and say, hey, here's what's going on. And I think that's a thing a lot of people in church Sunday needed to hear.
Yeah, it's tough too, because if you have isolated yourself, it only breeds more isolation. Because like, well, nobody's reaching out or nobody cares, but maybe they haven't reached out as much because you've pulled back, and it kind of is a vicious cycle.
Well, it can be confusing sometimes too, I think, because, well, maybe they want space, maybe they need space, you know, you don't want to upset them even more by...
You mean if we're on the other side of it?
Like on the other side, if someone else is isolating themselves, maybe they need that space and they need time to just have private.
Yeah, no, that's good. For me, church has always meant people to fellowship with, and I think for some people it feels awkward if you've not grown up in the church world, because it's kind of like manufactured friendships. But I think what Aaron said was important when it came to the idea of fellowship. It's holding something in common. It doesn't mean we're going to be best friends. It doesn't mean I'm going to like everybody that goes to church and I want to hang out with them all the time. It means we all have something in common. We're all pursuing Jesus, and because of that common ground, we can encourage each other in that. And I think that's really important. Were you gonna?
Well, I just was thinking too, it's a form of community. I was on Amazon yesterday because
It's dangerous.
Is
it Prime Week? It's Prime
Day.
Day. Oh, that's what it
And
is.
so I was looking, and it had boxes for packing, and I'm like, well, why would you need to buy boxes for packing? You just ask people for boxes, and they bring you. And then I thought, well, I guess that's not always the case if you're not part of community. And so if you're not in a church or you're not fellowship, you don't have fellowship with anybody, you don't have that. And so I think that's a part of the community too, is being able to reach out, even if you don't know each other, but you are part of the same fellowship, you know, you go to the same church or whatever, you can say, hey, I need this. And oftentimes people are way more than willing to give what you need. And I know that happened here with VBS as well. A lot of people came in and we asked for things, and people filled those needs, and it was really cool to see.
That's great. I just noticed that I am not wearing an I Love VBS t-shirt, and now I feel out of place.
Your daughter's actually wearing it today.
My shirt?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. All right, so if you missed that sermon, if you missed that service, and you want to catch up, go to tlcc.church, and you can catch that sermon online. The part that I thought was really cool was the same charcoal fire that Peter warmed his hands over when he denied Jesus is the same charcoal fire mentioned when Jesus was cooking for him as he came out of the water. Yeah, it's the only places that's mentioned. And it's just a reminder that Jesus consistently invites us back to the table with him, and there's a lot of grace there. So it's an encouraging word. And so if you missed that, go to tlcc.church, and you can catch up there on the sermons tab, and you can see that service there. Okay, we need to move on to the TLCC top 3. These are the 3 things, most important things you need to know going into this week and that are coming up. Brian, tell us what we need to know.
All right, so the first one, we've been talking about the pool party, and so that's only a couple days away on Friday.
I'm nervous because I think it's supposed to rain.
Yeah,
So-
which we need rain, so, you know, if it happens, it happens.
It
But
does.
Also, a lot of the days it said it's going to rain, like it starts out at 90%, and then it turns into 30%, and then...
So what's the protocol if it does rain, if it gets canceled? Where can they find that?
Yeah, we're going to post it on Facebook, and hopefully they'll see it there. We can put it on the website too, I guess, but most people
and
just...
emails will send it out.
Yeah, and to be honest, usually the aquatic center just makes their own post, like on Parks and Rec, saying the pool's closed. And if they close, I'm sure that we won't be able to have our party either.
We just have to break in at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. So, I meant if they close earlier in the day.
You're just saying that time is from 7 to 9.
7 to 9 is our time that we've reserved it. If you're already at the pool, earlier that day or something, they just make you kind of step out until everyone else gets out, and then you can come back in. But if you would just come from 7 to 9, it's on us. We're paying for that. The concessions are not open, so if you want drinks or something, you need to bring them with you, and you have to keep them in the concession area. The second one is that Sunday we're having VBS recap here at church, so kind of everything Sunday morning will revolve around the 5 Bible points that we've made this week with the kids and stuff. So you can look forward to that. They'll be singing some songs in both hours, so that's always a fun day. And then the third thing is, we talk about this once in a while, the community kitchen. We volunteer every, 6 to 8 weeks, it seems like. And so the community kitchen will be happening Saturday the 22nd. And if you've never been involved in that, there are different ways to volunteer, starting in the morning with the prep and the cooking, and all the way through the cleanup and dishwashing time. So you don't have to come the whole day. You can call the office or message us on Facebook or whatever. Talk to Dawn and volunteer. If you've never done it before, it's really easy training. When you arrive that day, they'll let you know what to do. And you don't have to cook or anything. You can just show up and talk to people. You can sit and eat with people. You can play the piano. You can greet them at the door. There's always a way to serve.
Yeah, and talk about coming back to the table of fellowship. I used to think that community kitchen, I used to view it one way, but after participating a little bit, you realize it is about a chance for people who don't get community to be able to share together, and it's a really great experience. So there you go, the TLCC top 3 of the week. The pool party coming up on Friday, 7 to 9. Then we've got VBS recap happening on Sunday. And then if you want to volunteer for the community kitchen, that happens Saturday the 22nd, and contact the office if you're interested in being involved. Okay, we want to move on to what we call the Spotlight of the Week, and we're going to, here in a little bit, highlight the kids here at VBS. If you hear it getting a little bit louder, it's because they're going to start coming in the room. But until that happens, thank you guys, I hear you down there. Until that happens, I have a few questions for Macy. You've not been on the podcast, so welcome to the podcast. You've been helping direct VBS, and there's been a lot of planning coming up. You and Jesse have been working together. What's been the most fun thing about this? What's been the most challenging thing about this?
The fun has been seeing it actually come together. And we came on Sunday and all the decorations were up, and then you see all the helpers, and actually we have a lot of young helpers this year, and it's been really cool to watch them, step up and fill in the gap where we needed helpers. So that's been really good.
I did notice today, I was looking out when they were working with their teams. I'm like, it's a lot of young volunteers, but they were all doing such an amazing job.
The most challenging would be probably the bus route, getting it all figured out. I didn't do this. This is all Jessie. She did so much this week, and this would not be what it is without her. That scared me.
Elementary, they're coming in.
They're
Okay.
gonna get louder.
It's getting real loud.
And so figuring out the buses and people not being here, and then they're going to be here, and then these people are going to join, and that was really the first day was really stressful.
Yeah.
But
So we have a bunch of students coming in the room right now. Who is your favorite student, and who is the worst student here possible?
you, they said you.
They said me. We can hear them all screaming right now. So on a different note, you have been working, it's been coming together. What do you hope kids take away from VBS? What do you hope these students and the people that are participating, what do you hope as they leave here they take away?
That they're loved and they're valued, and that it's important to memorize scripture and to be in fellowship together, even during the summer.
Way to tie it in. That was well done. Brian, your children have been participating in VBS. You've participated in VBS a lot in your life. What do you hope they take away as they, it's crazy, it's fun, there's Bible lessons, there's stories, but what do you hope they take away from their VBS experience?
I mean, one of the things is Preston has now moved into the serving time. So how to serve others, kind of, to pass on what people did for you. I mean, that's part of it now. But my kids always look forward to VBS, like shaking, excited, really. I mean, even Preston this year as a volunteer. So I think that's cool. And I think like we do with all of the maybe youth-oriented stuff, you hope that all the excitement and all that in the midst of that, they really do internalize the Bible points that they're screaming out every day and all that. I mean, that's what it's all about. And we do this so that we really immerse them in an environment. That's why there's so much that goes into decor and lighting and all these things that we spend a lot of time on. Is so it's immersive, but not just so that they look back and they're like, oh, that was a cool experience, or they did more with the, special effects or whatever, but that helps them retain what they're learning.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest things is the effort that goes into VBS gives us the opportunity to share about Jesus with them. Gives us the opportunity to have them present, to have them with their friends, to have them with their peers, but gives us the opportunity to speak Jesus into their life. And most of the stations that they're doing all reflect around lessons that they're learning about Jesus and about who God is and about how he impacts their life and changes their life. So we got 2 minutes left. Children, if you hear me talking right now, we're up here recording a podcast, and you're going to get to participate in it in a way as you are singing and dancing. So make sure you do a really good job singing and being a part of the service. All right, last question, Macy, before we go. What's it like being the wife of one of the ministers here at the church? Do you want to just tackle that in about 65 seconds?
Where's Jessica?
No, you don't want to tackle that? Do you want to say the best thing, worst thing? No.
The best thing is getting to watch you preach every week and getting to see how you interact with other people. I enjoy that. The hardest thing.
Oh, she's the hardest, not worst. Okay.
Would be I don't know. There's a couple.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot there that we don't want to get into. Okay. Probably scheduling would be difficult. Yeah.
Or
Okay.
or like you're never off the clock. Basically,
true.
like you're always have to be ready for something.
Yeah. Well, we're very grateful for you. I'm grateful for you in many ways, but specifically with VBS. And for those of you who want to give a quick shout out to Macy, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday. I know. And now we are ready to turn it over to Miss Tina. Tina, are you ready down there?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to turn it over to Miss Tina and give you, our viewers, the opportunity to catch a glimpse of the craziness that happens at VBS. So here you go. Check out what happens here at VBS at Timberlake Christian Church.
All right, guys, stand on up. Welcome back to Cosmic Closing here at Stellar VBS. You guys ready to sing? We're going to sing our song, Turn Your Eyes. You ready? You got to get loud with me. Here we go. There's no sound. Ready? Here we go. Jesus. high. Ready? 3,